Some of the most marginal seats in Australia are in the east of Melbourne, and none more so than the electorate of Chisolm. Liberal MP Gladys Liu holds the seat, but is in a serious battle to hold off Karina Garland. Drew Jones is at Box Hill Community Arts Centre. Drew, what's the mood like out there?
Good morning, Annalise. I've just moved actually to Pinewood Primary School, so Scott Morrison was actually supposed to be here very, very soon, but he's gone to the northern suburbs of Melbourne due to time constraints. And you would think, or you would certainly understand why the Prime Minister would come into this electorate, because it is one of the most tightly contested in Australia. The margin around 1,000 votes between Gladys Liu and Karina Garland. It's about 0.3 to 0.5%. They've been battling it out. So much so that some of the union workers here on representing Labor was cold calling over the last few weeks voters, trying to razzle up those extra votes to get them over the line. The polls at the moment have Labor slightly ahead, but we know that we don't always go on those. We're going to be chatting to Karina Garland shortly, who is here at the primary school at the moment. And it is actually quite a buzzing atmosphere here. Thousands of people have already come through to vote today. There's must be 50 or 60 volunteers around us that we can see. And we've got the sausage chisel up and running just off to our left. Tony Escott's getting a shot of that for us. So it is a beautiful day in Melbourne now. It's been a cool morning, voters getting out and about. And we understand that because this is such a razor-thin margin in this seat, there's been a lot of support for both Gladys Liu and Karina Garland throughout their campaigning process. We've had John Howard, who was out here last week, Anthony Albanese was in Chisolm yesterday. We've had Richard Marles, the Deputy Leader of Labor, and Daniel Andrews campaigning alongside Karina Garland. So there has been a lot of support in what will be a crucial seat. We spoke to a voter a little bit earlier on in Box Hill. They won't be voting for Labor or Liberal today.
I'm just really passionate about, refugees and not keeping them processed offshore and in detention for indefinite periods. I do also care about the climate. I'm not a big Liberal fan. I'll be preferencing Labor today, and it seems like in the polls she has a good chance, so I'm excited.
No doubt that every vote counts today when there's only around 1,000 separating the two candidates. Around half of the residents that live in the Chisolm area weren't born in Australia. There's a lot of Chinese migrants here as well, and that is certainly an advantage to Gladys Liu, who was the first overseas-born woman to hold a seat in the Australian Parliament lower house, and she is from China. Fascinating to see how this battle plays out today.
That was the first electorate to have an all-Chinese debate. Remember last time?
Yeah, thanks, Drew. An interesting point about that set too, because because there's so many Chinese Australians there. I mean, that will be a marker or a test, I suppose, as to whether Australia has maybe been too strong or too soft with its response to.
Well, we have to remember too, a lot of the people who came to Australia from China were getting away from the CCP.
Yeah. So
they're very pro tough action on China, but a lot of them still have family there too.
Sure. And like they said, Drew just said, only 1,000 votes in it last time. So one of many key seats to watch this morning.